Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. Okay, so this week we have to talk about my friend Sherman. Okay? I think Sherman has been a good buddy to me. He hangs out on my desk with Bob Ross and he entertains and we have some laughs. Well, I laugh. He just kind of sits there quietly. But we need to talk about this guy and his type. Okay? I think that automation and algorithms and estimates and all kinds of interesting machine learning type of solutions are very interesting. I do. I have a lot of respect for my robot friends. I do not trust them to do recruiting. Let me tell you why, okay? Very specific example that I came across this week, which kind of prompted the idea for this week's video. I learned two very important things about LinkedIn this week. So one, this was new information to me. One is that LinkedIn will put an estimated salary range on a job posting. So when you have, if your company has a relationship with LinkedIn and you have purchased these job slots or something, your roles can actually be posted onto LinkedIn and they're, shared or whatever. People can hit the easy apply button. They can apply directly through LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is now apparently putting this salary range estimate. So that was a thing I learned. I did not know that this salary range estimate thing was a thing. I learned this because one of my roles that I am personally responsible for recruiting was advertised on LinkedIn. This is not unusual. I work for a ginormous company. I think most of our roles end up there in some fashion. I don't know who's driving that, but it's not me. But anyway, they're there. And I'm looking at this job posting and going, well, that salary range is awfully low. And I was torn, y'all. I was torn between being like happy that I could clearly pay so much more than people think I should be paying, I guess. But then I was also like a little concerned because I thought, oh my God, what if a really great candidate sees this posting and is like, I wouldn't work for that little money. I don't know. So it could go either way, right? Depends on how you look at it. But that was an interesting data point. And I thought, wow, that's unexpected. I wonder where this comes from. And so I did a little more digging and I talked to a bunch of people and, did some homework and some research and found out that, which is actually made obvious in their little caveat as well, but found out that this is an estimate. LinkedIn does an estimate based on salary data that they have collected, and also looking at similar roles across other companies in the same geographic market. So basically, I had a role for a kind of hardware engineer, and they had taken a stab at what they think this particular kind of hardware engineer would make in the greater Seattle area. Now, I can't tell you if that's true for other companies. I have done hardware recruiting at exactly one company, and this is the one. I know for a fact I can pay a whole lot more than was reported in that job posting. But it was interesting that LinkedIn kind of made an assumption here and ran some numbers, I'm assuming using some kind of algorithm to come up with that detail. It was wrong, but there it is. Here's the second thing I learned. I already kind of knew this part, but I'm going to share it with you guys. As I'm looking at this job posting, LinkedIn encouraged me to be one of the first 25 applicants. And I said, well, that's interesting because between myself and my sourcing partner who look at the applicants every day, I know we've looked at more than 25. How about that? So apparently some robot behind the scenes is counting all the clicks from LinkedIn and doesn't have any visibility into all of the clicks that are happening not through LinkedIn. This is Sherman's shocked face. Look how surprised he looks. So here's the thing, y'all, all kidding aside, okay? The point I'm trying to make here, again, I think that AI, machine learning, algorithms, cool new ways to slice and dice data and pull data points and create trends and create information is a good thing. I am supportive of this. A lot of people kind of got mad at me and, were like, oh, you didn't even put a salary range in there and you're going to bitch that somebody else did. Well, no, I'm not complaining. I mean, it's just an interesting phenomenon. Like, I think it's cool that LinkedIn is making this effort to kind of try to create data and create some maybe just jumping off points for a conversation. I think that's a good thing. But as I said on LinkedIn, this is why we don't necessarily trust the algorithms or the bots to do our job. Okay, those are just 2 data points. Okay, number 1, the salary range was way off. It had no basis in anything realistic from where I'm sitting. Again, speaking about my specific company, my specific roles, their estimate was off by a lot, like an embarrassing amount. And 2, somebody looking at this role and saying, oh, gosh, hardly anybody's applied. Not accurate. We actually have a few interviews happening for this specific role. Very, very hopeful for these that we're actually going to get a hire, maybe 2, because we need more than 1 of these people, by the way. But the point is, LinkedIn is telling you, be one of the first 25 applicants, and we're already like way further down the road. Like in real life, I have people coming on site virtually to interview for this role. So I share all this with you because as a job seeker, I want you to be informed. That is why I come to you every week with a new random recruiting related topic, because I'm doing everything I can to help demystify recruiting and to help you understand how the sausage is made, what happens behind the curtain, so to speak. Okay, I want y'all to understand that. But I also want you to understand that a lot of the information that is available to you is not always accurate. Okay? Again, props for the attempt. Go LinkedIn. Thank you for transparency. Thank you for helping me drive this conversation, because it kicked off a great conversation over on LinkedIn. And except for the people who think I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. You just don't know me. But the bigger point here, okay, is it gave us a jump start and a way to talk about compensation transparency, status of a role transparency, those kinds of things. So here is what I want you to take away. Okay, here's what I want you to use with this week's video and this week's information. I want you to look at all of the available data, and I want you to take down that information. Well, LinkedIn thinks it would look like this. What does PayScale say? What does Levels.fyi say? What do my friends in the industry say? What does my recruiter at the company I want to work at say? That's your number 1 source of information, I guarantee it. Same thing with the number of applicants, okay? Those are just people who have applied through LinkedIn. That can be a data point, but you also have to look at how long has the role been open? Do I have any connections at the company that can help get me in front of the right people? If I've already applied, have I heard back yet? Should I even bother chasing this potentially? These are questions that I want you to ask yourself. So yes, this data can be valuable data, and it can give you a starting point. It can give you something to start a conversation. But the best source of information, and I will say this probably forever, the best source of information, there's 2 people that know what's going on with a specific rec at a specific company: the recruiter and the hiring manager. Those 2 know it best. Okay? If you are not getting your information directly from one of those two people, run it through the truth filter. Do I feel like this is accurate? Does this line up with the rest of my homework and my research? Does this make sense given everything else I know about the industry, the role, the company, the team, the level, the location? And how much is simply an algorithm gone wild? Important questions to ask, my friend. If you have not received your recruiter and salary FAQs, go ahead and ask for those. Send me an email, amy@recruitinginYogaPants.com. Salary FAQs will get you some talking points on how to deal with compensation discussions with your recruiter, and then recruiter FAQs will get you some talking points and questions you can ask your recruiter at every part of the interviewing process. All right, y'all, I hope that helps. I thought I was going to be shorter this week, but here we are. Went over again. What are you going to do? Sorry, Barry. All right, y'all, go out there and get your dream job, and we will see you next week.